Country music's always been very family-orientated, so no surprise that the first famous brothers in pop sprang from hillbilly heritage.
My grandfather Ike and my grandmother Margaret, they had their own radio show, and they would tell stories and sing little songs, mostly very spiritual things, very wholesome stuff, and they had two little boys, Don and Phil.
This is Dad Everly, and we got the whole gang on deck: Mom, Don, baby boy Phil.
The brothers part was really easy to do.
Oh, what can I do to make you believe?
A duet was a kind of an unknown commodity in pop music, but in country music it's very traditional.
Don and Phil were the Everly Brothers.
Bye bye, love.
And by 1957, the whole world would know them and their harmonies.
It's almost miraculous the way that the two voices matched and produced those harmonies and the layered texture,
Wake up, little Susie, wake up.
which became really the sort of signpost in terms of matching voices.
There's nothing sweeter than brothers singing together, or families singing together. I don't think two people that aren't related can sound the same.
Dream, 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 dream. There's a tremendous sweetness and gentleness when they're at their best, which I don't think anybody else matches. Like, not even Lennon McCartney. I don't think Lennon McCartney got anywhere near the sweetness that they have, you know.
All your charms whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream, 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 dream.
The vocal harmony was in contrast to the relationship the brothers enjoyed, especially once they were forced to tour relentlessly to fend off the British sound they inspired.
They were pushed very, very hard by management. They toured all the time. You're under a lot of pressure. You've got to do a lot of gigs, and everybody wants a piece of you. And hey, surprisingly, it don't always go smoothly.
The pair tried to disguise their growing antipathy by making light of it on stage.
You know, people have said that I pick on Phil. In fact, recently I've been receiving notes and messages wherever we appear that says don't pick on Phil. They're signed anonymous and they're written in crayon, and that's what Phil uses in all his correspondence.
All the buttons can be pushed by your brother faster than almost anybody else because they've known you longer.
I put two and two together and figured it out. He's learning to write.
If they were unhappy about the fact that they were forced into it, they were brothers, and I think Don wanted to be a solo artist right from the beginning.
Talking to myself again, wondering if this traveling is good.
You made a solo LP a few months ago. Was that an attempt to break out of the strictness of the old songs?
I think so. It's an attempt to attain an identity so that you can realize that there's two individuals on stage singing.
Is there something else to doing we'd be doing if we could?
The cracks very much were starting to show. There was a lot of tension, and there was a lot more energy going into conflict than there was going into putting what they're doing out to the rest of the world.
It all came to a head in 1973, ironically at a gig the brothers were playing in an amusement park.
Problems, problems.
I was hanging out in the dressing room with Don, and everything seemed like it was going to go all right. But I guess stuff was hitting him a little bit harder than what I thought. So we just had a couple of drinks and went on.
When he had a little bit too much to drink, he'd sing a quarter note flat. And of course, with that tight harmony, Phil is trying to do what he can. And how do you sing harmony with somebody who's singing out of tune?
People have paid their money. They have hired their babysitter. They have driven to this place. They've got a vested interest in you doing your job right.
Woe is me, I should have stayed in bed.
About 10 minutes into the show, people started walking out.
But I think it was probably about halfway through the third song that Phil just got up on his tiptoes and brought the J200 down.
He took it and he threw it on the stage, his $1,200 Everly Brother Gibson guitar. And he came by me and he said, "I'm really sorry, Bill. I have to go. I can't go back on stage with that man again."
It breaks my heart to see us part.
My dad's always been a little chagrined about the fact that it was, again, in a public place. I mean, brothers can disagree. I can disagree with my brother. You can disagree with your brother. You know, maybe we really, you know, yell at each other and have a good row. But publicly, it becomes embarrassing.
The brothers didn't play together for 10 years, with Don returning to his country roots.
I knew Don was going to be there as a solo artist, and he said, would you play some songs with me? And I said, well, sure, I'd love to, you know. So we had a run through, and after about 10 minutes, you know, he said, well, we're going to do Bye Bye Love, and maybe all I have to do is dream. He said, would you sing with me? I said, you're kidding. He said, if you'd like to sing the harmony on it. Here I was, thrown in totally at the deep end.
Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, sweet caress.
I think he really appreciated, though. In fact, I know he really appreciated it, because he was on his own, but he did miss having the companionship.
My baby with someone new.
In 1983, the brothers decided to reunite for a concert at the Royal Albert Hall. It had been so long, they needed signs to remind each other of their names.
Maybe this could be, I'm tired of everyone saying, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it every day of my life? And when we finally decided to do it, people quit asking me that question, and I don't know, the times changed.
Even though you want to go your solo ways and try your things and see who am I really and so forth and so on, you've grown up as this, you've evolved as this, and at some point you need to sort of go, oh yeah, I really am first and foremost an Everleigh brother.
I think it's just enough time had passed, and it was time to get on with being family.
Don and Phil walked down from opposite sides of the stage and met in the center of the stage, you know, it all added to the drama. You know, everybody stood up. It was just a fantastic response from the audience, you know. People had flown from all over the world to see it.
I want you to tell me why you walked out on me.
I know we're infamous for having fought, but that's really quite funny, because it's really not true. We've had more time where we worked together than when we worked apart. Don and I were lucky that we worked together. Together we had real power.
I'm so lonesome.